So, hello everybody. Today we're going to be learning about the bead cabinet. Now the bead cabinet is one of the most important math materials that we have, and it's one of the most underused. So I really want to go on a deep dive today and talk about the bead cabinet. One thing that I want to mention up front is that it's not about simplicity. It's not about, oh, let's just do the short chains because they're shorter and they're easier. Miss Brenda, can you hear me? We put a thumbs up because I just really want to make sure. Okay, thank you so much. And so it's about the mathematical mind and developing the mathematical mind, and it's about logical, not easy, not short, logical. So don't let it intimidate you, and present carefully so that this will be successful. And remember care and handling. And it's not just about the child you're presenting to. This is a work that the whole room needs to be aware of as happening when you're doing it, because the other children have a responsibility not to be stepping over the mat. They will be required to walk all the way around the mat. So let's get started. We start with the 100 chain, always starting with the 100 chain. Why? Because we are showing the children that we operate on a base of 10 in our society, right? Base of 10 for everything except maybe clocks, and we're gonna, other things that are very small in comparison to the way that we use a base of 10 in our community. And it relates to the decimal beads and decimal cards, so the golden beads and the cards. Everything starts with a base of 10. So we want to really focus with that. That's why the pink tower has 10 cubes. That's why the red rods have 10 rods. That's why the brown stair has 10. That's why the cylinder blocks have 10 cylinders. The child's absorbent mind has been absorbing that the world around them is classified within groups of 10 for the most part. And we want to start with the 100 chain. I think we'll just get started. Michelle, could I give you a presentation on the 100 chain? Excellent. Come with me. So the first thing we're going to need is the mat. We want to prepare our space so that we have everything ready. And this is the mat for the 100 chain. Now, I should be seeing everybody in their classrooms doing this along with me. Okay, so everybody go get your mat for your 100 chain. And let's go set it up on the floor. This isn't just watching, this is participating. Everyone go get your mat for your 100 chain. Let's go set it up on the floor. Okay, and I will be on this side of Michelle because I'm right-handed. Oh, excuse me. I'll be on this side because I'm right-handed. That's right. We need to roll this out on the floor. Comes with this elastic to keep it together when it's put away. We need another few things before we get started with the actual chain. So let's get our tray and we'll bring over all the materials that we need for our 100 chain. We need just 100 square, and we need the arrows that go with the 100 chain. I'm just going to set that to the side. And we also need a working mat. Do you have a small one like you might use on a table? Or should we use yes? Yep. Let's see, where do we keep those? Let's grab a cloth one. We will use this to organize our arrows. So here, let me scoot on this side of you again. We're ready to bring our chain over. There's a special way to carry it. This is the 100 chain. holding it with 2 hands. Okay. Because I don't do this every day, let me just consult to make sure I don't miss anything. All right. Show you something. That look like something that you recognize? Is it this? Just about the same. About the same. Could you hold on to this right there? Watch. Arrows. Just organize them a little bit so that it'll make it a little bit more clear for us. We're not counting them right now. We're just putting the ones that look similar together. Okay. I'm going to show you how to count the 100 chain. Okay. 1. Let's see if we have an arrow for 1. Oh, 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. There's no more green. Let's look in our next row. Oh, okay. 11. We don't have an arrow for 11. Let's keep counting and see when is the next one we have an arrow for. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh, we have an arrow for 20. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Great. Is everybody on the screen? Are you guys on 40 also? Hopefully you're counting along with us. 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. I love that you're counting along with me. You know, you've done a lot of work with the teens and tens boards, so you were ready for this work already. 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70. 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80. 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90. 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. That one's a different color. My goodness. We counted the 100 chain. Now I'm going to show you something. There's another way to count this just by reading the arrows. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. We can count them backwards too. 100, 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sometimes the children like to say blast off right after that. So then I would invite the child to count the arrows up and down. I'd invite her to do the work herself, and I would stay close by because then when it's time to clean up, we want to make sure to show the child how to clean up. These little arrows are very tiny, and we lose pieces, but we never would stop doing the work just because we're missing a piece. We'll either find another arrow or make it ourselves. We never want to let that be a hindrance because the bead chains are honestly one of the most important math materials, and they have a lot of loose parts. And so we tend to sort of shy away from them when we're like, oh, I know, I'll get to that. I'll get to sorting out my arrows. I'll get to making, I'll have to order new arrows. We don't necessarily need to order new arrows. We just need to make sure that it's organized. Okay, hard to sit like that for a long time. So now we're going to, she will have had an opportunity to do this work. Hopefully everybody's been doing this in their classroom alongside us. That was the whole idea here. So make sure that we'll give some time even more to practice, I think. But the next thing that we do, this might feel surprising to many of you, but the next thing that we need to do is the 1,000 chain. We go right from 100 to 1,000. Why? Because of what we talked about at the beginning. This is about the logical organization of the mathematical mind, the nurturing of the mathematical mind. Would it be easier to give them some of the short chains? Sure. But we are trying to help the child understand that the world that we live in is on a base of 10, and that there are the categories unit, 10, 100, then we go to 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, and so on and so forth. So the next chain, although it takes more time, it's not actually a lot more complicated. It really needs to be the next logical work, okay? So I would show the child how to put all of these things away. But in the meantime, I think for sake of time, when you take out the 1,000 chain, you would often you would have the 100 chain there too. So actually, we don't need the arrows for that because we're just going to be looking at the length, because we know now, we've proven, we've trusted but verified to the child that this chain here equals this 100. Okay, and this is sort of happening simultaneously with the decimal, the golden beads in the decimal system. So depending on their interest, but definitely before this, they're fluent with the teens and the tens boards. Okay, Michelle, do you remember how to carry the chain back to the, but you know what, actually we're going to leave it because of what I said. We're going to do the 100 chain next, but just so you know, I would ask the child to carry it back, and we can leave the arrows out too actually for now. I'm just going to set these here, and we will go, now we're going to do the 1,000 chain because you're ready for it. You've shown me that you know how to do the 100 chain really, fluently. And so we are ready to do the 1,000 chain. What do you think what was the first thing we laid out here?
The mat.
Yep, the mat. So the mat for the 1,000 chain is much longer. It's much longer, isn't it? So we need to look in our classroom and see where would be a good spot so that we don't want to have it too many curves in it. We want to have it as straight as possible. So I'm thinking maybe like through here. Let's see how it goes. Once you've done it once, you'll know where a good spot in your classroom is. Okay, Michelle, look at this mat. It's rolled up so beautifully too. That's really important. Okay, so I think what I might do is start over there and see how long it goes. Let's head over here for a moment and see what happens. All right. This also has a piece of elastic around it to hold it open or to hold it closed. So let's see. But I want to leave a little space because we are going to show all the other children that when we have the 1,000 chain out, they need to walk around the end of it. We never step over the mat. So, Michelle, would you like to continue unrolling the mat? Yeah, it's okay to, yep, do that. Perfect. Mm-hmm. Yep, sometimes there are a few little curves in it, but that's okay. And now we have to make sure that our friends, so Miss Olga and Miss Kelly, you're working in this classroom too, and Miss Michelle is doing the 1,000 chain. So if you want to go from this side to this side, I'm going to show you how we need to do it, okay? Now I'm over here. Um, we never want to step over somebody's work. And so we're going to all have to work as a community to be really, really careful in how we step around the 1,000 chain. So now if I wanted to go back over there, again, I've got to go all the way to the end, or I could go all the way to the end that side, but we never step over. No, because you know what could happen? Sometimes we don't see where our feet are all the time, and we could trip on somebody's work and move the chain and the arrows, and all of Miss Michelle's work will have to be redone, and we don't want to do that. So it's going to take all of us. And honestly, side note, just adults to adults, it's really nice to have the 1,000 chain mat out and someone's working on it because it automatically brings down the movement in the room because people know that they need to walk around it. And everybody, the whole room becomes more normalized because we're all protecting this mat, right? So even for young children, they will automatically slow down because they're going to take it seriously if we take it seriously. If we say we never step over the chain mat, they also will know, okay, when I'm moving around in this room, I'm not going to be stepping over the chain mat. Okay, so the next thing that we can bring, let's see here. What I would do, so if we are doing the 1,000 chain from the start, we had just done the 100 chain, we want to have it at the beginning. So what we're going to have to do, because we're not going to drag it and we're not going to just jumble it up and reassemble it over there. We're going to actually really carefully, Miss Michelle, can I show you if you come on back over here? Yep. Only because of where we did it. So we weren't going to want to put it over there. So I think if we just put the materials, and I will roll this up to also take with us because we're going to need all of these things. Let's just put these items, yep, and we can stack these up. You want to get the units and I'll get the tens and the hundred, and we'll just bring them back over. Yep, and then I'll invite you to carry the chain, and I will roll this up. And we'll bring all of these items because we would like to compare the length. So we're going to bring this over. And I will just lay this out here. Would you like to lay the chain down? Yep, here I can move. And let's see. I think that for saving time, we're not going to put the arrows out again right now, but we just know, because we've just proven it, that these arrows go with the 100 chain. Oh, if I can pick it up, it's a little bit tricky. There we go. I'm going to set that here. I'm going to remind us that that equals this. And then I'm going to hand this to you, and we'll put it, actually, let's go to the bead cabinet because we're ready to bring our squares and our cube from over there. So again, we're going to walk around. Okay, so you remember when we did the 100 chain, we just brought 100. Now we're doing the 1,000 chain. We're going to bring all of these squares. Okay, so we bring that over. Oh, and can't forget the arrows. Okay. Oh, so let's get those items. Actually, let's hold on for a quick second because I think it's actually time to bring the chain over. Let's go get it. Now, this is the 1,000 chain. And there are, if you look, large circle rings that it's hanging by. That's a special way to hang it so it stays nice and organized. And there's a special way to carry it. I'll show you. This is how we carry the 1,000 chain. All right, let's head back to our mat. Let's see here. I might lay it. Now, this is where sometimes it might get a little bit tangled, and we're just going to do our very best. So what I'd like to do is have you hold the end of this, and I'm going to see, where is our mat? Okay, here we go. This happens, but that's okay. This is part of the work, is to lengthen this all the way down. Okay. Okay, you hold on to that, and you can see what I'm doing from a distance, right? I'm gonna see if I can find the other end. Uh-oh, sometimes they come apart a little bit, and we just have to fix it. Uh-oh. These chains sometimes come apart a bit. Okay, I'm gonna fix that, but we'll just keep going for now. All the way down. I can do it. I can do it. We're never stepping over that chain. I never, never, never. Okay, there. And we gotta get the rest of it down here. So that's gonna go together here. All right, happening. Okay, we're gonna keep going. All right. And look what we discovered. We have extra length that we don't need. So we're going to make it easier for our friends in the classroom by removing this part by just rolling it up. If we can make it easier for our friends, then we should. We didn't know how long it was going to be until we tried. So now that we know we only need to have it as far as the dressing frame stand. Okay, Miss Michelle, do you think you could connect those two that are apart right there? Because we are going to need to do another little something here that's pretty magical. Got it? Oh, perfect. Thank you so much. Okay. Okay, Miss Michelle. I'm so excited about this part. Okay, I'm going to actually sit on this side of you just for this part because I need to be at the end. Okay, now watch. See this ring? So that's how we know it's going to be a little space there. So one thing that people can do is to make sure that all of the bars are nice and straight and not bent so that this goes a little bit more smoothly, but you know what? You just roll with it because this is all part of being in what we were talking about before, living, breathing classroom where things are not always just how, just how they can be, but then we notice and we fix it. Okay. So I think that little space there for our next one. Okay, I hope everybody in their classrooms is working on this as well. Here, Miss Michelle, up a little bit so they can see the end here. There we go. Okay. So you learn every time. Like next time, I would do it not on this. See how the edge of the area rug underneath it is there? But you just learn, and each time you do it, it's more, smoother than the time before. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh, you guys are so helpful. Thank you so much. Remember when we were watching the video of the buckle frame and it felt like it was taking a long time to our brains, but to children, they're fascinated by this. They are absolutely fascinated by this. They can't wait to see what's going to happen. I'm going to ask you to scooch down a teensy bit, Miss Michelle, and we're getting right to the end. This is so exciting. See how these are all, if we had done it just slightly the other way, they would have all been at the bottom. It doesn't matter if the rings are at the top or at the bottom. It's just that we can see them all lining up, and it's making that sensorial impression that there's a break there between these. Okay. Do these look like something we recognize? It is. It's the remember how much was this again? 100. Let's see if it matches. We're going to put one just above each section. Oh, and we would have one more. Oh, here it is. Oh, ooh, ooh, there we go. Okay. Everything falls apart. No, no, no. We got it. We got it. Okay. Now, look at that, Miss Michelle. It just matches, right? We're going to superimpose. This is called superimposing when we put it right on top to see that it's the same. Okay. Okay. Did everybody see that? How we have the 100 on top of each cluster, right? Now I'm going to show the child something truly magnificent, which is we've done some work with the golden beads. Do you remember what this is?
1,000 cube.
1,000 cube. Okay, I'm going to show you something. When, because we learned that 10 hundreds equals 1,000. And if this chain equals all of these hundreds, and these hundreds equal this thousand, then this chain equals 1,000. Amazing. Amazing. Okay. So I think what I'll do is just store them right here until we're ready for them again. And now, I'll hold the end this time, and you, Miss Michelle, gently pull that all the way down. So we'll learn for next time that we're going to be on this side of the mat. So we'll scooch it back a teensy bit so we have a little more space. But again, we live and learn. There we go. We're at the end. Sometimes we need to do a little more configuring. So like where it's close to the edge, we'll move it up a little bit more. Um, Not higher than the midpoint though, because we're going to lay out our 100 squares as we finish them. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So now we get to start the counting part, and we have to prepare our arrows again. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to put anything we don't need, I'll put away over here. And we're just going to lay them out, and everybody in their classrooms can be doing this at the same time. Okay, so this part is going to take a moment, but what we're going to do is take anytime we have a hundred, a red hundred, we'll start them over here. And these happen to be in order, they don't have to be in order. Um, but we are going to sort our arrows based on starting in the hundreds here. So I'm going to assume that most classrooms arrows are not going to be this neatly organized. Miss Michelle probably counted them just before this, right? To make sure she had all the pieces, right? And so if they are mixed up, that's okay. That's probably how they are. Sometimes people like to have like those little teeny tiny binders, the little tiny hair binders that are like super small, little rubber ones, to like bundle them by hundreds. Whatever you want to do is totally fine. Okay, so we have our start, and then, oh, we don't have any units in here. So we should still have 1 through 9. So just for the purpose of this, but then know for the future that you'd want to have a set of units also. Okay, so I'm just going to borrow these units for now. Um, but then you'd also want units in the thousand chain. Whoop. Okay, there we go. Okay, so Michelle, when we're sorting when we're sorting these out, so I'm going to move these down a bit because we need space for, let's actually, why don't we do half on each side? Then we'll make sure we have enough space. There we'll have 500s, 400s, 300s, 200s, 100s. Then we'll have just our tens and then our units here. So what we can do as we're looking at these, we'll just pick them up and say, okay, this one starts with a 9, so it goes in the row of the 9s. We don't have to put them in order. We're just sorting them by which row of hundreds they go in. So I just picked up this random one. It's 240. So I'm going to just put it next to the 200. Again, we don't have to put them in order now. That's what the chain counting is for, but we're going to sort them. And then if it's just tens, we're going to do a line here of those. And then the units we'll do above. So everyone in their classroom can just take a few minutes to sort your arrows. Yep, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be somewhat orderly so that the children can manage. And sometimes when you get to this, to doing a thousand chain, they might have two friends, like partners, doing it together, and then they can share the responsibility of doing this. But one child for whom this is exactly the right presentation for them will not balk at the fact that this is going to take a little time. Remember, we're developing concentration. And the adult can be doing this with the child right now, right? Especially on their first presentation. Okay, there we go. All right, it's time to start counting. And I'll sit on this side, but I'll make sure that you can see because there's not really space on this side of me. I mean, we want our friends at home to see. Okay, so just like we started with the 1,000 chain, we'll start with 1. And I'm gonna, because you want to try to keep, it's super important that your finger makes contact with every single bead. This is the sensorial aspect. This is why it is beads, right? Dr. Montessori wanted the child to feel quantity, to feel what quantity is. So here we are with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, where's my 6? Oh, here we go. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. 10. Remember, 10 is 1 and then a 0, right? This is 10. We've done 10 in other ways before. Uh-oh. Sometimes they stick to your hand. Okay. And then remember, we don't have arrows for some of these, so we'll go until we have an arrow. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20. 2, then 0. Now, of course, we as adults can count a lot faster than this. But the rhythm of it is what is going to help the child remember 19 comes before 20, right? 29 comes before 30. We have to keep the rhythm. That is part of the sensorial impression that's going to integrate into them so that at any time, sometimes when I'd have a collective and we were dismissing to lunch or to outside, I would say, call on a child because I know where they're at with what they understand about math. I would say, Michelle, what comes after 29? And then she would probably do something like 27, 28, 29, 30, right? Because she's heard this so many times. That's another beautiful part of this material is the repetition. And they get that cadence, that rhythm. And so then she would be able to go, get ready for lunch or whatever. Okay, again with the sticking, that's me. Okay, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Sometimes I'll exaggerate that rhythm because it really helps to make the impression. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70. 71. Oh, you know what? I think we need to scooch our mat down a little. This is the fun part because then we know we're making some progress. We'll just keep scooching. Okay. 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80. 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90. 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99,
100.
100. Okay, 101, 102. Don't worry, we're not going to go all the way to 1,000. But we do need to go a little bit more into it just to show what happens after 100. Oh, and we forgot something important. When we reach 100, we get to place one of our squares because we can see that that's how far we've come. 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110. 110. This is what 110 looks like. It's 110. 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120. Notice I'm not putting the and. I'm not saying 101, 102, 103. We don't, that's so much extra. We don't need that. So we're just going to keep it totally, we're isolating just the numbers, okay? 121, 122, 123, 124, 125, 126, 127, 128, 129, 130. But I'm also not skipping. I won't say like 170. You have to say the 100 part. That's the repetition, and that's what's going to integrate it into their recollection of what this work is. So 131, 132, 133, 134, 135, 136, 137, 138, 139, 140. And just make a mental, like have it look like you're looking really hard, like you're analyzing these. You know, I can obviously be like, okay, 140. But we want to show the child that we're really looking at these. That's the critical thinking. That is the asking questions. That is deciphering and discerning between, okay? Because they'll remember these numbers from the tens boards, but having it with the 100 in front of it, this is a new piece of information. 141, 142, 143, 144, 145, 146, 147, 148, 149, 150. Okay, so knowing your children really well is super important because if you know that she's capable and she's showing interest in wanting to take over, you would let the child start and make sure that they know they're putting one finger on each and keeping their finger there while they go and reach for the next one, right? So you would do this all the way down. And then when you get, when we get this all counted, it's very dramatic looking because picture this, okay? You've got your hundreds above the last bar in every set of hundreds, okay? And then at the very end, this is the super exciting part. You get to place the 1,000 cube. And then they know that they have counted to 1,000 because they know for sure that this is 1,000. They trust already that this is 1,000. 10 hundreds equals 1,000. And they'll be reinforced with that the more golden bead material that they do. So these are sort of parallel works. And then picture how dramatic it looks where it's like you've got the little green ones at the start, and then you have a section of blue and then a red one, and then a section of blue and then a red one that are exactly the same. And that pattern is going to be repeated over and over and over all the way down. And so then when you're done, you do exactly the same as we did with the 100 chain, where you count just the arrows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. I'm going a little fast right now, but with the child, I'll go 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, all the way down to 1,000. This is skip counting, preparation for mathematical or for multiplication tables, right? That kind of skip counting. I mean, how often do we do that in our everyday life? We're always skip counting. When they start to learn how to do clocks, they'll be skip counting by fives, right? There's that counting of the arrows up and backwards. And I'll tell you something, when we get When we count the 1,000 arrows all the way there and all the way back, they really want to say blast off when they get to the end of this because they put in so much time and so much energy into this. Um, and it's just very, uh, this is probably one of the Montessori materials that demonstrates her absolute brilliance of making abstract concepts concrete for children. I mean, you say to somebody 1,000, even now we hear that number 1,000. It's really, really hard to connect it. Like that means 1,000 units. And so for their whole life, they will have this sensorial impression. They won't remember where they got it from, but we'll know it came from their Montessori roots. And it will help them in their career and it will help them in their life and when they're baking, when they're all kinds of things, okay? When they're architects and engineers in the future, this is where it starts at this age. This deep understanding of what quantity is not just memorizing it, it's actually going through the motions and feeling with your fingers the quantity of it. So we only have 5 minutes left, but I really wanted to stop here, and then putting it away is just as careful. So when you're putting it away, we would take all the arrows first, making sure none of them, when you tend to do a sweep like this, they pop around and then we end up losing them. We're all familiar with that scenario, right? And so we want to show them the stacking. And especially if you're using the little binders, then you want to stack them and you bind them together, but you don't have to. I personally like the sorting part of this at the start. It sort of gets their mind into that mentality of like, okay, in math, there are categories. This goes with this, and this goes in this order. Well, thank you. Exactly. Okay, so if you had a little binder like this, and Miss Olga just gave me, they don't need to be in order. In fact, we don't necessarily want them to be in order because that takes away the counting later, right? The like discerning between. But she's got this little tiny binder, and then you have 10 of these bundles in your box. And then same with the units. Last thing, so I love everybody just to take some time and practice this with your staff. What do we think the next chain will be? If anybody, okay, I'm going to tell you. It's the 5 chain, the small 5 chain, the short 5 chain. That's the next one. It goes 100, then 1,000, then small 5 chain. Why? Because it's half. It's exactly half of this. So the mathematical brain is starting to divide things. This will be half. And then the skip counting by 5s. Oh my goodness, we use that in our everyday life all the time. When I'm doing like a tally of things, I'm like, hash mark, hash mark, hash mark, hash mark, cross through, that's 5. And then I go and count them all up. I'm like, okay, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 26, 27. I'm 27 in my hash marks. We use skip counting by 5s all the time. So it goes short 5 chain, then long 5 chain. We don't go to the other short chains just because they're easy and they're quick and the children will get instant gratification out of being able to count. I mean, like a 2 chain or something like that. Those 2 chains and the 1 chain and the 3 chain, those are really, really important chains, but not any more or less important than every single other chain. So once you do the 100 chain, the 1,000 chain, the short 5, the long 5, then you can start branching out. Okay. Then you can start branching out and let them choose. Okay. Who are we to say that counting 7 chain is easier than counting a 9 chain? They're all odd and what they feel like odd until they start to get into the rhythm, right? When it was like an amazing day for me when I realized that counting by 9s is really just counting by 10 and subtracting 1. But I would never tell that to a child. They have to discover these things by themselves, right? So now I know I can go 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 72, 81, 90. And because in my mind, I had when a child has counted these arrows up and down, they're going to start remembering those. And then they're going to start putting those pieces together like, oh, it was just increasing the tens by 1, reducing the units by 1 as we go. That's how you count by 9s, right? So that's actually, in my mind, a little easier than counting like 7s or 8s because you have to subtract by a couple more each. It's just, you know what I'm saying? So please use these materials. It takes a lot of maintenance, but it really won't if we're doing proper care and handling and introducing of this work to the children in a way that they all know the expectations, including all of the friends in the room. They know they'll never, because goodness sakes, and I've seen it. Can you imagine a child counts a chain almost to the end and somebody just trips over it and yanks the whole thing? Ooh, sad. But if that happens, because it might, we all have to remain calm. Okay. There's no shaming the child who did it, there's no yelling or screaming. It is like, okay, let's help Miss Michelle put her chain back together. And let's remember how we walk around the chain all the way. Having a chain out is just such a brilliant thing. Probably a lot of people are thinking, oh my God, having that big thing in the middle of a busy room, it will make the room calmer by having it out. Okay. Um, let's see. And we're at time. Can I have the computer, Miss Michelle? Thank you for being my cinematographer. I want to see if we had any questions in the chat real quick, and then I'm going to let everybody go. But I do hope that everybody was practicing as we were going through this and doing this with yourselves, with each other. And the support staff have a huge, important role in this work, making sure that we have all the parts and pieces, making sure that that each bar is straight so that they line up together nicely, helping all the other children understand how to move around this mat. This is a community effort. When this work is happening, it's literally everybody's responsibility. I have a question from Edina. Miss Esme says, what is the rationale between the unit skinny arrows, 1 through 9 green? I find the children become confused and look for arrows to correspond with each bead after 10. Exactly. So once they have this laid out, so the units are skinny because they point to just one. They have to be no wider than that one bead. Okay. When you get to the tens, and then when you get to the hundreds, they're a little bit wider. That's to make a sensorial impression that a unit is the smallest category. Tens are a little bit wider. The hundreds are even wider, and the 1,000 will be even wider. So these we would want to redo a couple of them so that they show that progression. But they represent those tens, the 10, 20, 30, 40, they represent that whole bar. So that's why they're wider. Then we have 100. It represents the past 10 bars. Okay. So that was a really good question. And